In today's video, we're going to discuss the subject of vascularity, the prerequisites for improving it, and the training, nutritional, as well as even environmental considerations that factor into getting it. So if you're interested in having your veins pop up and down your arms and legs so that they look like a virtual 3D lightning show going on just below your skin, then watch and learn as I take you through the ins and outs of everything you're going to have to know about accomplishing this specific goal. What's good, meathead? Coach MANdler here. As I said earlier, today we're going to discuss all of the different considerations that contribute to giving you more vascularity, or in other words, what you need to do in order for your veins to pop up subcutaneously or underneath your skin. As I mentioned earlier, there's nutritional, there's training, and even environmental factors that contribute and come into play regarding whether or not you're going to see your veins pop, whether you're going to see that vascularity you're looking for. And we'll discuss each inside this video, but above all, there's one major factor that you simply can't get around if you want your veins to show. That's the fact that you must be lean enough for them to protrude from underneath your skin. Now, I don't believe there's any set in stone body fat percentage that you must be under for your veins to show. After all, many people store their body fat in different areas, and that's going to range from person to person. But if you're looking for a ballpark range here, then I'd say don't expect your veins to show unless you're at 12% body fat or lower. Why? Simply put, your veins lay on top of your skeletal muscle and underneath the dermis or your skin. And if you've got too large of a layer of fat tissue lying in between the muscle and superficial most layer of your skin, then you won't see your veins popping out regardless of any of the considerations that we're going to discuss inside today's video. So, given the fact that we know too high of a body fat percentage is a limiting factor for us to having the vascularity that we're looking for, naturally we can deduct from that in order for our veins to protrude and give us that badass vascular look that we're going for, being lean and maintaining as much muscle as possible should be at the forefront of our to-do list. And understanding that gives us a clear and solid starting point to work with, given the fact that we know in order to get lean and to maintain size, we've got to both eat and train specific to that particular goal. Let's first discuss the training end of the equation. Now, if we know that having a low enough body fat percentage and having our skeletal muscle push up on the veins themselves so that when they're dilated and fully engorged with blood, they're being positioned just underneath our skin as superficially as possible, then we ask ourselves what type of training allows us to increase hypertrophy and lipolysis, or fat breakdown for use as energy, at the same time. The answer to that is simple. It's higher volume and higher intensity anaerobic style of training. Pretty much everything you see me do and hear me preach about on this channel with high intensity barbell, dumbbell, kettlebell, body weight, and band-based workouts. That training style will not only in the immediate time frame help to increase vascularity by pumping up muscles so that they're pushing up those dilated and blood engorged veins to the superficial surface of your skin, but long term, when in conjunction with the right diet, will help to increase lean mass and decrease body fat so that your predominant reason for not having vascularity is completely eliminated. So in a nutshell, when it comes to training, do this. Just chase the pump with high rep ranges, say 10 to 20 reps per set of multi-joint exercises in a high intensity format, and that'll be a solid starting point for you. Now, let's talk about the nutritional considerations that you need to pay attention to. First and foremost, just as we mentioned with training, our diet must reflect the need to work on reducing body fat levels while building or at least maintaining muscle mass. There's a million different ways to approach this, but at the end of the day, when you're trying to build or at least maintain as much muscle mass as possible while you're burning off excess body fat, it really all comes down to just being in a slight caloric deficit on a daily basis. That simply means that you need to make sure that on a daily basis you burn off on average about 250 more calories than you consume, and you do so by way of eating clean carbs, maintaining a positive nitrogen balance via getting enough lean protein in your daily diet. Research shows that all you really need is, say, between 0.75 and 1 grams of protein per pound of body weight if you train hard on a consistent basis. And above all, remember that you're not going to lose a single ounce of fat unless you burn more calories than you consume. Now, don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean that you go on a crash or starvation style diet that will lead to muscle atrophy on top of fat loss. It just means that you need to do your part to eat healthy and goal specific while maintaining that slight 250 to no more than 500 calorie deficit on a daily basis. Now, let's say you do manage to get below that 12% body fat percentage that we discussed is a prerequisite for you to have your veins protrude from underneath your skin. There are some other nutritional considerations that you can hone in on as well. That first consideration is both carbohydrate and salt consumption. Now, I've found, and many bodybuilders preparing for shows will tell you, that in order for you to maximize your vascularity at any given moment, you need to obviously be lean. But on top of that, the macro and micronutrient content of the foods that you consume also matter. And eating enough quality carbs to assure your muscle glycogen is replenished after training, but that you're not housing so many that you aren't in a caloric deficit, is a good start. This will literally engorge muscle size, and in conjunction with a little bit of salt in your diet, help to pull water into your muscles instead of remaining underneath your skin, so that you avoid a blurry look and instead have your veins literally get pushed closer to the surface of your skin. As for what constitutes quality carbs, I'd say play around with it through some trial and error and just focus on getting ones that are easy to digest and won't leave you feeling gassy or bloated. Trust me, you'll know within 30 minutes of eating what looks and feels good for you, so just play around with it and go from there. For me, honey, fruit, and white rice tend to do the trick, but it might be different for you. So just kind of run with it and see what works. Now, as far as any other nutritional advice that I'd give, full disclosure, I'm not a huge fan of supplements, but given the specific goal we're talking about here and how you'll need to focus on the factors that help you get the outcome that you're looking for, in this case, having your veins show, there are some different supplements that you may consider that act as vasodilators, or any agent that helps dilate the veins and engorge them with blood. Common ones that science has proven to help are amino acids like arginine, citrulline, and theanine, many of which are found in a lot of the popular pre-workout powders that so many meatheads take these days. So, to sum up all the nutritional concerns and considerations that factor in to your vascularity, what you'll need to do, number one, is eat lean to get lean by maintaining a slight caloric deficit. You'll want to consume enough salt and enough of the right carbs that help increase muscle glycogen and pull water into your muscle so that the veins get pushed up to the surface of your skin. And lastly, if you are someone that is into supplements, add in some arginine, citrulline, and theanine to help increase vasodilation and ultimately help to engorge your veins with more blood. Now, the last little consideration I'll talk about regarding your vascularity has really nothing to do with training or diet, but will affect whether or not you have the vascularity that gets blood banks all hot and bothered. That is the environmental consideration of the air temperature. This is real simple. If it's cold, your body responds to this by way of vasoconstriction so that it can better regulate body heat. If it's hot, the opposite occurs and vasodilation takes place. Obviously, this means that if you want your veins to remain popping, you stay in an environment that is warm. Otherwise, you'll have to manually get them to vasodilate by way of forcing a good pump and elevating your heart rate to make up for the environmental stimulus that automatically makes it difficult for them to protrude at the top of your skin. So there you have it. Everything you need to know in order for you to be able to have the vascularity that you seek. If you do have any more questions about this subject or anything else that you want me to discuss in any future video, please just let me know by leaving that question down in the comment section below, and I promise I'll get to it in a future video and get you what you need to get your goal accomplished. Hey man, thank you so much for checking out today's video. I know it was on a subject that was kind of out of left field, but it's a question I've been getting a lot of recently, and ultimately I always want to do my part to fulfill the promise I made to you of getting you simple and scientifically supported answers to all of your performance and aesthetic-based questions. Again, I cannot stress to you enough that I'm here to help you achieve your specific goals. So regardless of what your question may be, please help me help you by asking away in the comments section below, and I promise I'll get you the response that puts you on the right path. And one last thing before you bounce regarding today's subject. As I mentioned, the number one prerequisite for you to have the vascularity you want is being lean enough and having muscle push the veins up to the superficial most layer of your skin. If you're looking for some sample routines that will perfectly hit the spot for this particular goal, then do yourself a favor and grab your free copy of the Anabolic Fat Loss ReBoot that I put together for you by clicking on the book image that you see right over there to the right, or in the first link that you see down in the description box below. Inside, I'll give you 10 routines that will help you drop body fat fast and do so without you losing any of the muscle that you need to have the vascularity that you want. So to get it for free and to get those veins popping, click over there or down there, and I promise I'll hook you up big time.